Hey, Bryan Fuller. I am a custom bike builder out of Atlanta, Georgia. Spend a lot of my time making stuff and thinking about making things and that kind of deal.
How'd you start getting into the fabrication side of things? When did that begin?
I bought a 50 Plymouth when I was in college and kind of got back into the motor scene. And I think when it really started, I decided to chop a top on this custom, and I rented a Sawzall thinking that I could cut the top in one day, and then rented a welder the next day, a flux core horrible welder the next day, thinking that I could weld it all together that day, and then just grind it later. Obviously I had a grinder.
Right.
So that pretty much started the beginning of the end of my road to the corporate world, and basically led me into turning myself into a kind of a metal artist. So I got kind of read in early, but really it was about bicycles. I mean, I rode bicycles when I was a kid and modified them all the time because I wanted the Mongoose and I wanted the red line and I wanted the Skyway wheels, and I wanted the really light, like killer chromoly frame, but I could only afford to go down to Walmart and get a $100 cheapo bike, and then save my lawn mowing money to add all the stuff.
Yes. My dream bike was a Hutch when I was a kid.
Oh yeah.
I always wanted a Hutch.
I wanted a Hutch too.
That's a good bike. You mentioned earlier that you were from Texas.
Yeah.
And then I know in the course of your career you've been out on the West Coast.
Yep.
How'd that move happen?
I had a real job. I was wanting to get out and start doing this stuff for a living. So I ended up going to Wyotech. So I picked up after 25 years, I guess, in Texas. Moved out there. Was kind of an older student, and more, mature for my class. Did really well, and then I got a really good job at SoCal Speed Shop in Pomona.
Right.
So I got to intern with some really killer metal guys.
Yes.
And that was just such a hell of a time, I've got the Fueler, which was the combination of Fuller and Buell. So that was a sport bike basically, and a Harley kind of mixed together into this thing. We brought one on display that we're working on right now, or that's been finished for about a year. But we're doing a series of 5 of them. But they haul mud, they're comfortable, and it's been fun to watch the evolution, figure out the things that we did right, figure out the things that we did wrong, and they're a cool little bike.
The Fueler looks like it has some board track inspiration. Is that part of the design, or did it make
No, actually not. No, I didn't. I never thought about it, honestly. I think I'm always inspired by board track because they're always stripped down.
Right.
They're really just raw meat machines, and I always like that kind of. I mean, someday I'm going to get to build one. I'm getting closer. I'm working on a knucklehead project right now. So I'm moving it back probably into the 40s is where I'm at right now. Hopefully the next step is to push one back into the 20s and get something really vintage.
Do you have a preference as far as the power plants you use, Japanese, American? I know most of your stuff's got a Harley in it.
I mean, I got a Honda right here that's a 70s CZ5E. And I absolutely love this bike. I mean, to me they all have. I'm not really someone that just goes, hey, this is all you should use. I grew up in the era where Hondas were prevalent, Kawasaki's were prevalent, the Harleys were prevalent. And so to me, an import machine has a really kick-ass, high-end, high-end, smooth, like a sewing machine, runs forever kind of appeal. But at the same time, you look at a Harley and it's got this like unmistakable,
it's got its character.
It's shaking itself apart. It's like pure American. You know what I mean? Like you just can't deny it. I mean, I'm even considering electric. I mean, you can get 250 pounds of torque like that. You know what I mean? And it's finally. They're getting electric capability to the point where it's starting to get interesting.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're like, maybe I should think about that. I think, to me, watching history, you see how the split. You can see how the split in the future is more than likely you're gonna say, look, gasoline was here,
right.
We're gonna go into electric more than likely,
right.
and that just seems like a logical deal.
How are you gonna replace the sex though? Because the sex is coming out of that exhaust. How are you gonna? I mean, that's gonna be the question that everybody's gonna ask you is, oh yeah, I'm all about electric motors, except there's no sex in it.
I think you're right on that. I would never leave gasoline, but I think at the same time, I think just like, yeah, you want to have sex with your woman all the time, and sometimes you talk to her. You know what I mean? I think that's where the electric comes in.
Hold hands.
Sometimes you hold hands and do that stuff, and I love it, honey. And it's the most amazing time. And so, I just think it's I think it's just different. I mean, I think the split. What I'm saying is, neither one are going to go anywhere. It's just it's a split between the two, and I think it's an interesting area to delve in.
Right. I don't think you're going to lose the essence of a bike going electric, but you're going to lose some of the charisma. I think
you're going to lose a lot of it. Yeah. I mean, most of our work is on FullerHotRods.com, so we're kind of involved in a lot of interesting, different things. So yeah, if you go on there, you see a lot of fun videos and a lot of photos on how we're building this stuff in metal.
Okay.
We're also on Speed on Two Guys Garage, usually Saturdays and Sunday mornings.
Okay. Excellent.